Hello, welcome to my review of The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, directed by Francis Lawrence, a film that follows Katniss Everdeen after her rebel-inspiring victory at the 74th Hunger Games.
This is the 75th year of the Hunger Games. The tributes are to be reaped from the existing pool of victors.
Katniss! I get to say goodbye. Katniss!
So what do we do? I think these games are going to be different.
Okay, so looking back at the previous Hunger Games, I thought it was a really good film. Not a great one, nothing like that, but still really good for what it was. I did have some problems with it, primarily in more of the character side of things. I really didn't care for any of the characters besides Katniss and Peeta. Everyone else I was just kind of, quite frankly, pretty apathetic towards. And kind of adding on to that, as much as I did like Katniss and Peeta, I found some of their interactions to be a bit on the cheesy side. The whole scene in the cave, I thought really could have been hurried up quite a lot. I mean, during that scene, she's like, you should take this, it's gonna help you. And then he's like, no, you should take it, it's gonna help you. And I'm like, you know, you could probably split the thing and hurry this shit along because, well, this is taking forever. It was just scenes like that that I found to be a bit on the redundant side, and quite frankly, I just really didn't care for them. And not only that, but when it came to death scenes, the film was very shy about showing deaths. And you know, really, if you're gonna do something like that, then show it. You don't have to make it incredibly gory. Just show something to get some sort of reaction out of me. However, as Catching Fire goes, it gets everything right. Like I said earlier when referring to the first Hunger Games, I really didn't care much for the tributes. This time around, I really did. I must say a lot of the main tributes are very well presented. And what even sucks even more is that you know that a lot of these people are probably going to die. And that is what is incredibly important when it comes to a film like this. You gotta make the viewer care for the characters, otherwise, well, what's the point? And one thing I also have to praise about this movie, and the last one as well, is that this is pretty much the anti-Twilight. And what I mean is, instead of having this character that's all mopey and monotone and boring and just quite frankly, from what I've seen of the films, a terrible person, Katniss is a very positive, strong female protagonist, something that I think we need in more movies. Katniss is not like Bella from Twilight, who can't help herself. She has to have two men to constantly save her from danger, or she's not constantly trying to decide who she wants to have sex with. There's a lot more to Katniss than any of that crap. And when the film does lead to the more romantic side of things, it's much more realistic, it's much more complicated. Katniss is a pretty complex character, and I really like that. Which now brings me to the performances. All the performances in Catching Fire are all really good. I did not see a bad performance in this film. Jennifer Lawrence, Josh Hutcherson, Donald Sutherland, and I love the new addition of Phillip Seymour Hoffman. He's an excellent actor. I can't wait to see more of him in the series, so yeah. And one thing I must touch on before I wrap this review up is the superb ending. I absolutely loved it. Unlike most Hollywood productions of the stature that had to have this big raging climax at the end of the film, this film ends in its own way. And one of the reasons why I loved it so much is because it left me satisfied, however, it also left me wanting more in a good way. So yeah, I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the third installment. Overall, The Hunger Games: Catching Fire is an excellent film. It far exceeds its predecessor in every way. I absolutely loved it. I'm going to give The Hunger Games: Catching Fire a high 4 out of 5. It is completely excellent. One of my favorite films of the year, and that's pretty much all I have to say. So that's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Even if you're someone who didn't like the first one, I would even say give this a shot because you might very well like it. It's a great film. As always, I'm Colyn Kirkland, and thank you so much for watching.